Revelation 14, we see the 144,000 mentioned. The Lamb, Jesus Christ, stood on Mount Zion with him, the 144,000, having his Father's name written in their foreheads. Who are these 144,000? It also speaks of them in Revelation, the 7th chapter, by tribe. Out of the hurt not the verse 3. It says, "Hurt not the earth, neither the sea nor the trees, until we have sealed the servants of God in our God in their foreheads." And I never heard the number of them which were sealed. And they were sealed in 144,000 of all the tribes of the children of Israel. A lot of people think this is literal Israel, Jews. It's not. It's talking about the Israel of God, which Paul says are those that are Christians. Remember, Jesus said there hasn't been a prophet greater than John the Baptist, but he that is least in the kingdom of heaven is greater than him. It's the kingdom of heaven that God shows has fulfilled all the promises to the Jews, that from them would arise a priesthood and a holy nation. This comes from the olive tree that was they went for the wild olive tree because the ones that were natured by olives didn't fill all the branches, so to speak, So anyway, like James, he says, to the 12 tribes that are scattered about, in the first part, very first sentence, I think, in James. And this is speaking not to the 12 tribes of the Israel according to the flesh, but Israel according to the Spirit. See, so it's just important to understand this. Now, as far as Alex Jones and all of the Patriot movement, I think it's a great thing that they're actually shining the light on what is really going on. I didn't know anything about Bohemian Grove before Alex Jones brought it out, So there's a great deal of important knowledge, and most of these people that are patriots, they say they're Christian, But just as Peter took that sword, and to try to defend Jesus Christ and took off his ear, there might be, initially, when the beast begins to rule, there might be quite a few of them that want to go out with a sword or with a gun and try to defend their freedoms or the Lord, Christian or whatever. But the thing is it's not going to last long, because after that, Jesus don't put away the sword, Peter. All those that take the sword shall perish by the sword. So these patriots that call themselves Christians, if they're true Christians, they're going to get with it quick. They're going to realize, oh, okay, now we understand. We're not supposed to use the sword, God is our deliverer. That's what the whole Bible is about. God is your deliverer, not you yourself, the life giver. It takes faith, You can't go just by your eyes, but you have to go by faith, But with all these people with the guns and everything, that might actually bring about what it says in Zechariah. It might be God's will, because in Zechariah it talks about the people that come against Jerusalem. And that's the heavenly Jerusalem that will descend to the earth. And it says their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth. And it shall come to pass in that day that a great tumult from the Lord, as Jehovah, Yahweh, shall be among them, and they shall lay hold every one on the hand of his neighbor, and his hand shall rise up against the hand of his neighbor. So maybe all these guns and stuff is just going to speed up their own destruction of the wicked, And I wanted to bring out one thing about the eagles. In Revelation we see that the woman was given the great wings of an eagle, and it's interesting. There was this. How the scriptures bear this out about the eagles. In Isaiah 40, I mentioned this. I didn't have it marked, but here it is, and it's on Isaiah 40, verse 29. He giveth power to the faint, and to them that have no might. He increaseth strength. Comes from God, Spirit of God. Even the youth shall faint and be weary, and the young men shall utterly fail. even those big, strong young men, you know. It says, but they that wait upon the Lord, at Jehovah, Yahweh, shall renew their strength. Because of the Spirit of God, you see. They shall mount up with wings as eagles, and they shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. See how great the Word of God is, really. The churches don't make it so boring, like dead in the Spirit. But this is the whole solution to all the ills that plague mankind and have plagued mankind since the very beginning. It is our Father, our God in heaven, that cares for us and has mapped it all out for us to watch and to look at and to observe what's going on in the world and where we are in the stream of time, you know. And also about the kings, you know, because I wasn't quite sure about the beast in the 13th chapter that had two horns like a lamb and spake as a dragon. Is this a kingdom or is this a king? You know, and it's interesting because in Daniel, in the 10th chapter, Gabriel said he was fighting against the prince of the Medes, or the king of the Medes. Let me see if I can find that. And that's why he was delayed in getting to Daniel. You know, yeah. Okay, yeah. Daniel 10th chapter, verse 13. And behold, a hand touched me, and he said, Daniel, are greatly beloved. Understand the words that I speak unto you. And in 12 he says, then said he unto me, fear not, Daniel, for from the first day that thou didst set thy heart to understand and chasten thyself before thy God, thy words were heard, and I am come for thy words. Yeah, I don't know. This isn't Gabriel right here. It doesn't specify any name here, but it says, but the prince of the kingdom of Persia withstood me. Maybe Gabriel, but the prince of the kingdom of Persia withstood me. The prince of the kingdom. This is speaking about the spiritual realm. So these princes and these kings have obviously have demons behind them. There's a hierarchy in Satan's world, you know, and certain kings are actually led by devils, by certain devils, you know. And he was, and they fight with the angels, the loyal angels of God. It said, and the prince of the kingdom of Persia withstood me 21 days. But look, Michael, one of the chief princes, came to help me. And I remained there with the kings of Persia. And now I am come to make thee understand what shall befall thy people in the latter days. For the vision is yet for many days. So, yeah, so then, and when I'm looking at Revelation, the 13th chapter, and I behold another beast coming up out of the earth, this may indeed be that Antichrist, you know. In Thessalonians says, the man of sin, you know, the son of perdition, which Judas was called after Satan entered into him. So, yeah, that's just what I wanted to bring out about that. Another point I wanted to bring out that I was speaking about was... yeah, so I'm not positively sure about that, but that's why I'm thinking that could actually be that king, Antichrist king, that sets himself up. Now the other one was in Luke Luke in the 17th chapter, and we gain insight to what he was speaking about in Matthew through Luke, because in Luke, like the 30, remember it says, remember Lot's wife. Whoever shall seek to save his life shall lose it. You know, whoever wants to seek to save his life under the protection of the government and avoid the persecution, they're going to lose it. And whoever shall lose his life for faith in the God that is truth and love and is the healer of all mankind, he shall preserve it. We're not going with the devil, you know. And I tell you, that night there should be two men in one bed. The one shall be taken and the other left. 2 women shall be grinding together, one shall be taken, the other left. 2 men shall be in the field, one shall be taken, and the other left. And they answered and said to him, Where, Lord? Where are they going to be taken to, And he said to them, Wheresoever the body is, thither will the eagles be gathered together. Now, what was he talking about? Because right in 32, he says, Remember Lot's wife. She wasn't taken. She wanted to stay in Sodom and Gomorrah. So all this thing about these preaching about left behind and the rapture, that's not what it's talking about. It's talking about fleeing. Because you're not gonna be raptured before the tribulation. It doesn't exist in the Bible. Don't let the deceivers deceive you that want to put their hands in your pockets and take your money. Shear the sheep. That's not the good shepherd. So that's what it's speaking of. Where, Lord? Where are they going to be taken to? They're going to flee, is what it's meaning. Like Lot and his daughters, they fled, they ran. When the angel urged them to, they went. When they saw that smoke, wow, they didn't. They were going to stay in the little city of Ai. And after that, we're going to the mountains, man, where there is no cities. So that's where they went. And wheresoever the body is, there will the eagles be gathered together. And Revelation talks about that the woman was given the wings of an eagle that she might be fed in the wilderness, nourished for a time, times, and half a time. So this takes faith, And that's really all the points I was thinking of that I want to share right there. So, So thanks for listening. God bless you.